Good morning, everybody. My name is Mike Maddox, and I'm President and CEO of ASK. We're here today to talk about the recent Equifax security breach that was announced last week. We have many people that will probably be joining us as they hear that we're going live on Facebook, so we're going to give it a minute or two to allow others to join in and be part of the conversation, so to speak. So bear with us while we let other people join. For those of you that don't know, ASK is a managed IT security firm based in Lansing, Michigan. We'll be celebrating our 25th year in business next year, and we are adamant about providing businesses with cybersecurity planning, cybersecurity protection, and that's the world we live in. So this breach, I think, has a number of things that we can learn from it, and we'll talk about those today. So I think everybody that's going to join may have joined by now, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Once again, thank you for being with us. Let me talk about first what we know so far. Equifax last Thursday announced that attackers had broken into their systems somewhere between May and July of this year and exploited a vulnerability in a web-facing application. So that was the announcement that was made last Thursday. We also know that sensitive information, highly sensitive personal information, was breached of 143 million some consumers. 143 million. I don't think it's an overreach to say this is the largest breach that we've experienced to date. Details such as social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, driver's license numbers, 209,000 credit card numbers. These were all part of the breach. 182,000 dispute documents. You file a credit dispute, it's got a lot of personal information in it. 182,000 of those were breached as well. Suffice it to say, when I say this is the largest breach to date, part of that is because of the type of data that was breached in this case. Equifax discovered this breach on July 29th of this year and reported it on September 7th. So we know that. As a company, their response, Equifax's response to the breach, has been widely criticized. This morning on this Facebook Live event, it is not my intent or purpose to get into that criticism. You can read about that in the local news, the national news, online. There's a lot of people talking about how they've responded, the frustrations with this response that have come out of Equifax. And again, I don't want to get into that. You can read about that on your own. My purpose is to talk about what we can learn from it as business owners. It is worth noting that executives at Equifax, at least a number of high-level executives, apparently sold large portions, if not all, of their stock just prior to the breach announcement. That's something that I'm sure will be investigated further and that those individuals in the company will need to answer for. But that is out there for you to read about as well. All of this can be summed up by saying that certainly it's not unfair to say that the response to the breach that we've seen so far from Equifax has not been acceptable, that it's been less than ideal. And that's going to be one lesson learned, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. Equifax has set up a website that you can go to find out if you are potentially one of the victims of the breach. That website itself has had a lot of criticism associated with it. There are those reporting that the website doesn't work correctly. There are those reporting that if you put in your information on two different devices or at different times, you'll get a different answer as to whether you were potentially a victim or not. There are those claiming that the website is only there to further sell credit monitoring service from Equifax. You need to be aware of all that and read the fine print very carefully on that website, but you do need to know that that website is out there. As an individual, if you're asking what you should do individually, not as a business, but as an individual, ASK has blog posts out there you can find on our website talking about steps individuals can take, such as credit freezes on all the credit reporting agency sites and other things you can do to protect yourself. And I would encourage you to look into those. My purpose today is to talk about what we can do as business owners. And as I mentioned, I think there are a number of key lessons learned here. Number one, preparation is key. I think it's fair to say that Equifax was not prepared for a breach of this magnitude. We will find out in upcoming investigations if they were prepared at all to protect the type of data that they were entrusted with. And the argument may be made that they did not have adequate cybersecurity in place. In fact, I don't think it's unfair to guess that that's probably one of the things that's going to come out of this for a breach of this magnitude to occur in the first place. But they absolutely, we know for a fact, were not prepared to respond in a way that would be publicly acceptable. So that's number one. Preparation is key. As a business owner watching this, you may ask yourself, well, how do I, as a small, medium business owner, prepare my business if Equifax, with all of their resources and their funding and their vast team of IT experts, could not get prepared? How are we supposed to do that as small, medium business owners? I think there's a couple things that I would point out. Number one, cybersecurity preparation does not come from the IT department. It is not a function of IT. This is a business strategic decision that needs to be made, and it needs to be made in the top office, and it needs to come from the top. Secondly, having an assessment done is the best decision you can make for your business today. And what I mean by an assessment is partnering with a qualified cybersecurity firm that can come into your business and truly assess what your security portfolio and posture is. Not every business needs to be a level 5 security business, but I would argue that most businesses today are at the other end of the spectrum. The more cybersecurity protection you put in place, the more freedom and flexibility you give up. So there's a trade-off. So having a qualified partner come in means having someone that will help you determine as a business owner, first of all, what is your posture today? And secondly, where do you as a business need to fall on that continuum? And your sweet spot is in there somewhere, but ignoring it is certainly not an option. Finding out where it is and then coming up with a plan of action to get there is what's critically important. As I mentioned earlier, a qualified partner can help you do that. ASK Enhanced Security Services does this day in and day out. We've done this for clients all over the state of Michigan and other places, and we'd be more than happy to help you if you're looking for a partner. Our security team will come in and help you make that determination and come up with a plan of action for your business. The third point I would make is that I am arguing today that every business today needs some form of proactive cybersecurity monitoring. At ASK, we have a suite of products we call Live Security Monitoring, and that suite of products involves having massive technology that will take and analyze every bit of data coming in and out of your business, look for patterns that are not normal, look for malware, look for viruses, look for anomalous traffic, look for things out of the ordinary. It does that through heuristics, through big data analytics, through massive computing power. That computing power is paired with a team of security experts in a security operations center that can analyze the output of those heuristics, of that data set, and look for things that are actionable. Viruses, ransomware, breaches, things that should not be there. And in very real time, 24 hours a day, notify you when something's out of the ordinary or an action needs to be taken. That mitigates damage from a breach. It's no longer a question of if, but it's a question of when we're going to all be breached. It's how long it takes you to respond and how quickly you can mitigate that damage that becomes critically important. As I mentioned, ASK's Enhanced Security Services team is ready to help with that, and we have a suite of products that will help you in that area. Proactive cybersecurity monitoring is something I believe every business needs today. It's no longer sufficient to only have reactive tools like antivirus, malware protection, web protection, email protection. All those things are necessary, but by themselves, they're no longer adequate in the world we live in today. They're no longer sufficient. You need more proactive tools in place, and a qualified partner will help you determine what those tools are and how to implement them. So in conclusion, I think I would just say that it starts with preparation. It is the duty of the chief executive officer, the highest ranking official in the company, to make this a priority for your business before it's too late. It begins with an assessment. Find a partner you can trust. And as I mentioned, ASK Enhanced Security Services would love to be that partner. If you'd like to reach out to us, we'd love to help you. Find a partner that can come in and help you assess where your business is today and what plan you need to put in place to get to the point you need to get to prevent a breach of the magnitude that was experienced by Equifax. I'd like to thank you for listening. If you have questions, please reach out to us at ASK. Contact your ASK representative. Have a fantastic day. Thank you very much.